So welcome everybody. Welcome to Film Street. Today we have Elena with us, who is the product manager in Electric Wine Company. First of all, welcome Elena. Welcome to Film Street. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Yeah, at Electric Coin Company, I actually focus on product marketing. Project management is another part of the company, but yeah, most of my work focuses on marketing, and I'm really looking forward to speaking with you and your audience today.
Thank you, Elena. Thank you, Elena. So, Elena, I was looking at your profile, and you seem to be working around quite a lot time, right? So you have worked with a lot more companies before, and you must have a lot more options in media industry, for example, because your experience is with media industry. So why you chose Electric Coin Company above your the media companies or all the other options that we have? Because this is the first crypto company that you're working with. So why Electric Coin Company?
Yeah, so the way that I got into working on Zcash and Electric Coin Company actually was a little bit of a non-traditional path. You're really right to point that out. I started most of my career in media, and when I went to grad school, I went to business school with the idea that I was going to continue working in that path. That's where I started researching blockchain. Around 2018, I wrote a research paper on crypto adoption in Venezuela. And that was really out of just a personal interest for a class that I was in. But it was through that research that I first discovered the Zcash community. The Zcash community is a group of very kind, very intelligent, very welcoming people. And I found a lot of people within the Zcash community were really supportive of my interest in cryptocurrencies. My first job out of grad school was actually at a blockchain startup, an Ethereum-based startup that worked at the intersection of journalism and blockchain technology. After a year at that company, an opportunity at Electric Coin Company came up, and what really drew me to Electric Coin Company was the culture. We'll talk a little bit about this later in the interview, but the technology that people are working on at Electric Coin Company with Zcash and zero knowledge proofs really is the cutting edge of the industry and something I wanted to be a part of.
Yeah, I cannot agree more that Zcash has the best technology by far, and the community is very welcoming. In fact, the whole crypto community is very welcoming, and if a newbie wants to join this industry, and this industry is very welcoming, and they want everyone to prosper and come to this industry, and be incentivized being in this industry.
Exactly, the
So
more the merrier.
definitely. So, Alina, while I was researching for this interview, I went through your profile and I saw that you talk about a lot of social issues, from racism to xenophobia and to financial literacy in Venezuela, as you have mentioned, right? So, what motivates you around this? First question. Second question is, do you think that crypto or blockchain can solve all these problems at some part or some another, right? So, if they can solve them, what can be the way forward?
Bandul, that's such an awesome question. And I think, like any good question, there's no straightforward answer, right? It's not yes or no or black and white. So, for starters, I don't believe that cryptocurrency or blockchain alone can solve any large kind of human challenge, right? So, there are many reasons that contribute to inequalities that we see today. And therefore, there's probably many solutions that would help change the status quo. I think one thing that's very exciting about cryptocurrencies and blockchain is the ability to redesign or reimagine financial systems and power structures. So I think when you're looking at, how money is created, money is such an important way for individual humans to connect with one another. But the fact that money is established by a government or a state and it's regulated
And
by a
it's
government.
borderless, right? Money needs to be
Exactly.
borderless, and it should travel from one border to another without any complications or without any attritions, right? We hear a lot of stories that okay, this transaction was stopped due to this government
Exactly.
and this. So this is the reason that people are poor. For example, I can see that a lot of people in India are working for US companies because of crypto, because they can basically get paid in crypto, and it's easy because cross border payments are now easier. So in India, people are having similar pay scale as they'll have in US, right? So it's creating an equal platform for everybody, so that if anybody is working, and putting up same effort, then he'll be paid in equal amounts.
It's also so this is another interesting thing, is that there's a difference between earning a salary and owning a part of the
Part
network,
of
right? There's a
network,
difference
definitely,
between earning, you can be an employee for your entire life, and that the way that you generate wealth is very limited because you
definitely,
will always have a boss. But I think one thing that makes people excited about cryptocurrencies and blockchain is being able to actually own a piece of the network, or
easily.
own a piece of the wealth
Financial
generation
infrastructure,
opportunity.
yeah, definitely.
Exactly, yeah.
Coming to this now, we always say that privacy is a fundamental right. uh, and this is very important in our lives, that we should have privacy at every level. So what do you think, what is the role of privacy in our financial ecosystem or financial markets? For example, crypto in itself is a financial market today, so what is the importance of privacy in this market?
So you can't have a fully mature financial infrastructure platform that doesn't guarantee privacy or that doesn't offer privacy. And that's really important if you're thinking about traditional financial players like institutions, companies, banks. They need to make sure that when making transactions with one another, you can maintain a competitive advantage. And one of the best ways to maintaining competitive advantages is to be able to selectively disclose information at different parts of the deal. So if I was trying to sell my house to you, um, you might not want to tell me how much money you have in the bank. You might only
Definitely,
want to tell me how much you're willing to pay. Those dynamics are only possible when you have privacy in a financial setting. Of course, privacy is also important for many other reasons. You just as a human operating in the world, you want to maintain personal privacy and the ability to control and withhold your information in different contexts. What you share at work is very different than what you share with your family.
definitely, Lina. So I was asking you that, okay, so if privacy is so much important in this monetary system, why crypto investors do not value privacy coins as much? Because we don't see a lot of privacy coins in top 50 or top 20. We don't have any altcoin in top 20. Like the closest is Monero. Right now it's trading around 21 or 22 market cap number. So why don't we have privacy coins in our top 20 list if privacy is that important in financial ecosystem? Why crypto investors don't value them?
Yeah, if I knew the answer. So I think it's hard to speculate.
Yeah,
And all of this, what I'm about to say, is just personal speculation. It's not a definitive answer. But
definitely.
I think there are because cryptocurrencies are so new, um, and privacy preserving elements or features of cryptocurrencies is even newer. I think there's a lot of regulatory uncertainty that makes people unsure of the direction of
Privacy.
the industry. And then I also think that the more transparent public ledger tokens like Ethereum and Bitcoin have a first mover advantage.
Uh,
So they were the earlier program projects. They have been in the space for 5 years longer. It makes sense that they'll have a bigger reach in terms of market cap.
but Elena, do you think that we have coins like Monero, which came earlier than Ethereum, for example? Monero was in the
Uh-huh.
market before Ethereum, right? But do you think the lack of marketing or education or awareness is pushing down the price of privacy coins? Like, just another question, right?
Yeah,
I'm
not
just following up on that
necessarily.
question.
So I think more often people are waiting and seeing what the regulatory landscape is going to look like as it relates to privacy enhancing currencies or currencies that have privacy enhancing tools. But I also think if you look at Ethereum and you look at Bitcoin, those projects are certainly trying to implement privacy at different layers of the stack. So
Definitely.
Ethereum has zero knowledge rollups. Mixing protocols are
Yeah,
popular.
yeah. So
Mhm.
I was telling you that, yeah. So we have like projects like Tornado Cash, which gain a lot
Exactly.
more, which is just a mixing protocol and gaining too much respect these days. So I was wondering, in Zcash we have a feature of optional privacy. Like privacy is not in the base layer. For example, in Monero we have compulsory privacy in the base layer only. So what was the motivation behind this first, and what is the added advantage on the compulsory privacy?
Right. So a couple of things. One is that Zcash has two address formats. That's, I think, what you're referring to when you're talking about the optional
Yeah.
privacy. One address format is transparent, so it doesn't encrypt certain information on the blockchain explorer, and the shielded or the fully private addresses encrypt much more information. When Zcash first launched, the need for having two addresses was simply because the zero knowledge proof system, the ZK snarks that Zcash had, were computationally very expensive. And so, in order to go to market, in order to reach wider adoption, having the transparent addresses with the idea of being able to improve the privacy technology as the protocol evolved, that was a strategic decision that the developers and engineers and founders of Zcash made. With the so that first iteration was the Sprout protocol upgrade. Now we're in what we call the sapling era. So when Zcash upgraded to sapling, it was able to greatly improve the underlying cryptography, making zero knowledge proofs faster, more efficient, and able to use them on your mobile devices. So your
Definitely.
phones, your tablets, and we have another upgrade coming later this year, which will even more it will even more dramatically improve the privacy or the zero knowledge proof technology underlying the Zcash cryptography. And regarding Monero or programs or projects that are only anonymous by design, I think a lot of it is the community or the protocol's strategic direction. So for Zcash, the people who work on Zcash really believe that privacy should be available to everyone. And that means making decisions that would allow the protocol to be more widely adopted. So for
Definitely.
some exchanges, they want to ensure that transparency is at least available at some part of the protocol offering. And for those partners, transparent addresses is really important. But I think it's different approaches, and we'll see as the industry matures what approach is the most successful.
Great. Thank you for this elaborative answer, Elena. So I want to ask that Zcash is gaining a lot more traction recently, and it's evident from the price, and everybody wants to know about it. So since we are seeing a lot of price surge in Zcash recently, what can be the reason behind it? Now, this is a question from the audience, and everybody wants to know about it.
Exactly. This is the crystal ball answer, right? If only we knew. So I think we're seeing a few things. One is that as the industry, the cryptocurrency industry is maturing, more and more people are identifying privacy as a need, a very big need for in order for this technology to be a mature financial asset. So more and more people are identifying the need for privacy within crypto. And then you also have these macro trends outside of the cryptocurrency industry. So the dominance of Facebook, Google, Amazon, I think in both in India, but also here in the United States and Europe, people are having conversations around how much control should these private mega corporations have in our individual lives, and where can we protect our autonomy. A lot of that, a lot of those conversations hinge on your ability to protect your privacy. So I think we have these macro
Yeah.
trends where people care more about privacy,
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
these
We have
crypto
seen a
trends.
recent trend where everybody was talking about new privacy policy from WhatsApp, and everybody switching from WhatsApp to Signal,
Exactly.
and looking for alternative mediums where they can talk freely without any surveillance, right? So since ZK Snark technology is such a innovative technology and such a game changer, so can we see zero knowledge proofs in other sectors apart from the financial sector or apart from our monetary system? Right, so what all sectors can we use zero knowledge proofs? Like it can be
Bundle
used in communications, that I can see that I love to see zero knowledge proofs in communications, right? uh can you please elaborate on this?
Yes, I love this question. And it's something that I'm personally very excited by. So let's take an industry that I used to work in, media, right? Digital
Yeah.
advertising completely changed the dynamics of journalism and a lot of other um, media companies. Right now, in digital media, one of the biggest problems is digital ad fraud. There's no way of proving that the ads you're buying are actually being shown to
People.
individual people,
Yeah.
users. So the Brave browser, they are experimenting with using zero knowledge proofs as a way to prove that a client or an individual phone was shown a, an ad or
Wow,
a digital ad without leaking any information about that client. So zero
I didn't
knowledge.
know about it. This
Yeah,
is
I can send
this
you
is
the
just
link
like amazing.
afterwards.
Yeah, this sounds
Yes.
amazing.
So then that's in advertising. Another really exciting use case, actually, I just saw the other day on Twitter. DARPA, which is part of the United States Defense Research Arm, they're actually exploring the use of zero knowledge proofs to see if there have been cybersecurity exploits or
Oh,
vulnerabilities in terms of like our cyber infrastructure. So there are many, many applications for zero knowledge proof technology that go way beyond cryptocurrency. And I personally believe in the next 5 years, zero knowledge proofs will be the standard underlying a lot of the security technology that we see today.
definitely. Yeah. Finger crossed, I guess. Uh, So, Alina, I want to ask that you organize a lot of meetups and workshops for new crypto users, and since we are an education company in India, and educating about Indians about the cryptocurrencies and UK's use case in our native language, Hindi. So, what do you think that what is the importance of education and awareness in the crypto space? And we don't see much startups working in it, right? There are not much startups who are working in primarily in the education and awareness sector, because if crypto needs to move from like to 1% of the world population to 25% or 30%, then education and awareness is the median that will go. So why don't we see much startups working in this education and awareness space? And what are your views on that?
Yeah, so I think we don't see a lot of
This is
startups
very
in this.
personal question, right?
Yeah,
Because we are education company, and I want to know the answer.
yeah. So do I. So I think we don't see a lot of startups in the space because the problem is very hard, right? It's a really hard problem to solve. Education is not a one size fits all silver bullet. I think a lot of times people are more motivated by an immediate profit gain. And so I'm going to try to buy low, sell high. I'm going to find arbitrage opportunities. But I personally believe that a more strategic decision is to try to educate a broad community and build an audience. And that way, I think you earn the trust of people from the very beginning of their cryptocurrency journey. And then you can help a broad audience navigate really important product decisions that they'll need to make along the road, like how to choose the right wallet for you, how to
Yeah.
go evaluate a different exchange, how to evaluate different cryptocurrencies. It's really hard to know who to trust when you first start out researching cryptocurrencies. And so, what FinStreet is doing, building a brand and helping people understand kind of like what products or protocols are the ones to follow. I think it's really valuable, especially in a native language, in a native kind of cultural context. So it isn't just something that is hard to understand or hard to conceptualize.
Thank you, Lina. I asked this question because I wanted self-praise, right?
Yes, exactly. You guys are doing wonderful. Way to
Thanks,
go.
thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. So, Alina, coming back to the point, like, what is the future roadmap for Zcash? Like, people are very excited for Zcash, and now we are seeing a price moments in Zcash, and people are, valuing its technology, and they are understanding that why they need Zcash in their life. So, what is the future roadmap for Zcash, both in terms of marketing and technology? Right, marketing is your forte, so would love to hear about marketing and technology as well.
Yeah, so there couldn't be a better time to get interested in Zcash. I think for the first 4 years of the project, there were a lot of growing pains that are very natural for protocols as they develop. So I mentioned zero knowledge proofs was an experimental technology. Zcash was the first practical application of zero knowledge proofs when it launched in 2016. Today, 4 years later, that technology is almost industry standard, right? Many protocols are using it.
Using it.
So that's one exciting thing. Another thing is that Zcash has a lot of really interesting upgrades coming in the technical roadmap of the project. So the Zcash is different from some cryptocurrencies in that Zcash has regular network upgrades. The next network upgrade is NU5. It's the sixth network upgrade for Zcash, and it'll happen later this year. It has two really exciting changes. One, it introduces something called the Orchard protocol that is
Yeah.
essentially using Halo. This is very technical. It's Halo, which is an evolution of the zero knowledge proof technology that we use that essentially allows zero knowledge proof without a trusted setup ceremony. And then the second thing is that we're doing something a little bit different. We're improving the way that addresses are managed on the platform or on the Zcash protocol. So you mentioned a private address and a public address. It's confusing to know which one. Hopefully, with our new unified address format, users will not have to juggle between those addresses. They'll have one type of address that will give them as much
Ease
privacy
of
as
use,
is
yeah.
supported. Mm-hmm.
Definitely, definitely. That's wonderful. In the end, I would love to know about it. What are your thoughts on Indian ecosystem? Because Indian ecosystem is gaining a lot more traction recently. We have startups like Matic and Wazirex coming from India, which are doing great, in the crypto ecosystem. Uh, and what is the role of privacy coins in the Indian markets? Because we are seeing a very bad times in terms of regulations and government interference in the ecosystem. So, what do you think is the role of privacy coins in the Indian ecosystem and Indian ecosystem as a whole?
Yeah, I think India is one of the most exciting markets to watch, not just in cryptocurrency, but in technology and startups and entrepreneurship in general. You have influencers in the United States like Balaji who are saying kind of the next generation of talent will, the next billion-dollar companies, the next unicorns will come out of
Yeah,
India. And I think that a lot of it has to do with talent, right? The workforce of India is very diverse. It's extremely concentrated. There's a huge amount of people who live in that part of the world, but they have a kind of more technical disposition in terms of what you're being trained in, kind of the technical boot camps or the technical education that the Indian workforce is getting earlier in their careers when you compare them to workforces from around the world. So I think
definitely.
that just in general is very exciting. And then I also think that the challenges that will be the challenges of the next generation of the internet, how do you get financial infrastructure in as broad of a
It's a
place as
broader
possible?
audience. Like we have
Yeah,
initiatives like Digital India and digital currencies, and we have
broad
unicorns
adoption,
like
low
Paytm. Yeah,
cost.
definitely.
Yeah, and India also has with the Aadhaar identity system, it has the largest biometric database in the world. So I think there are really
Yeah,
important questions that are being asked in terms of how should we manage this data?
definitely.
How should this data live? And
Yeah.
those questions will be answered in India before they're answered in other parts of the world. So that gives India the opportunity for a competitive advantage. In crypto specifically, I think the opportunity to rebuild and redesign financial infrastructure will probably happen in places where financial infrastructure isn't as strong or as established or as uniform. And so a place in India where there is wealth disparity, there is a huge digital divide between who has technology and who doesn't have access to technology, those will be places with a stronger need for developing these solutions. And I think that also gives the Indian market a competitive advantage.
Definitely. That's very motivating, Elena. And thank you for all the kind words. I won't end this interview, and thanks a lot for coming. I really had a great time chatting with you. Right. Looking forward to connecting with you again.
Yes, thank you very much for your time and interest in Zcash. And if anybody has questions, you know where to find us.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.